Monalisa as the first speaker, Massari, Inong, Tanaurant as the second speaker, and Anisa, Adisti, Maulida as the third speaker. First of all, I would like to tell our motion today. Our motion today is this House believes that the parents should be able to choose the sex of their children. And from that motion, we will give our theme line that we as an opposite team are strongly disagree with the motion. We'll continue to our team split, and Delia Monalisa as the first speaker will give the definition and the background. Massari, Inong, Tanaurant as second speaker will give the opinions, and Anisa, Adisti, Maulida as the third speaker will strengthen in our team's argument. So, the parents should be able to choose the sex or the gender of their children. What is sex selection or gender selection? This is a program that the program that using IVF. What is IVF? IVF is in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization, the lab stimulate the eggs and then create embryos and count their chromosomes. And from that chromosomes, it will decide that whether it is a male or female embryos, and then it will going to transfer to the mother womb. But the Sydney-based fertility specialist says that the trip could be mean for women. The trip could be mean for women to put themselves in a risk if we're doing sex selection or gender selection. Parents were able to select their baby's gender via IVF, but it will really put the mother in risk. And then Dr. Kerry Breen from Australian Health Committee told that we believe a child is entitled to come into this world without anyone deciding the sex ahead of them. So there's no discrimination upon this. And then the World Health Organization told that sex selection is for non-medical reasons is a serious moral, legal, and social issues. Why is World Health Organization say so? Because it concerns that sex selection or gender selection will distort the natural sex ratio, leading to a gender imbalance and reinforcing discriminatory and sexist stereotypes towards women by devaluing females. Let sex selection be a natural secret. You don't have to choose because we can't put a discrimination into child. And also the bad impact in sex selection is the budget to get sex selection is expensive. It's around $30,000 to $35,000, and that's an expensive cost for something that really risky to have the failure. It could result, like I said, it could result in a failed gender selection that will definitely inflict the parents, from the money and from the health and etc. The major risk to patient is sometimes the mother. The risk to the mother is the ovarian. The mother could have ovarian hypersensitivity, which can occur during an IVF, and it's danger for the mother. And we know that sex selection could be leading into discriminatory and inequality in how much male and females in this world, and that could be led to economic growth. That the economic growth could be getting lowest, and then like I said, inequality could lead to economic growth by lowering the average level of human capital. And like doctor, like I said that let that be a natural secret, and if you can do it, you can do it. Doesn't mean you should do that, because that have a lot of bad impact, and then male and female baby, girl or boy, is such a beautiful secret. Let that be a natural secret. And I'm stand on a disagreement to this motion that the parents should be able to choose the sex or gender of their children. And I'm Delia Monalisa. Back to the house.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, let me to introduce myself. My name is Massari, Inong, Tanaurant, and I am from SMAN 1 Jonggat. I come from the opposite side of the house. Here our motion today is this house believes that the parents should be able to choose the sex of their children, and we, as the opposite side of the house, absolutely disagree about this motion. Well, before I start my argument, I want to rebut from the opposite side of the house. Well, the second speaker from the opposite side of the house said that that IVF program is not risky, but we have very much examples for this. We have a very much example for the risk that caused by IVF program, especially for the mom, and especially for the mom. Well, we come to our arguments. The first point is, if we support this IVF program, it also will lead to Discrimination Act. Why do I say so? Just imagine if you or I are a parent and we don't want our children or our baby to become a girl. We just wanted a boy, and why do we think that we should have a boy? Because maybe they'll think that that gender is a weak gender. The girl doesn't have a potential, doesn't have a quality, then much better than the boy. Well, it also leads to Discrimination Act. Because of what? Because we make a difference between the boy and the girl, and that Discrimination Act is a primitive act. Just remember, the children are a gift for you, as a parent. And just remember, the children has their own potential, has their own quality, and the gender didn't affect to their quality or their potential. And it's our duty as parents to focus on their quality than their gender. And that is my first point. The second point is, this program, of course, like my first speaker has told you before, that this IVF program has a very expensive budget for you. Of course, we know that every parent have their own problems. Just like they have to take care of their house, they have to take care of their house budget too, and if they're pregnant and they want to choose the sex for the children through this IVF program, it also have cost much money too. Because we all know that this program is a very expensive budget, and like my first speaker has told you before, that it has around $30,000 to $35,000. If it's in rupiah, well, we can say it's 436,000 rupiah, and it's a big money for us. Imagine you have to choose the sex of your children, and it has a lot of cost, And what if that children, and what if that children, when you have to pregnant it, you have to spend a lot of money too. Well, first, you have to choose the sex of your children by IVF program, and it does have a lot budget. And then after you follow this IVF program, and how about the pregnancy? Process? It also needs a lot of cost too. And this is why we disagree about this motion. And the third point is, in fact, this program or IVF program has a lot of risky. From our example, the newest study from the Canadian Medical Association journal said that the risky of this program is much bigger than we didn't have to choose our sex of the children. Why do I say so? Because we have so much proof in this. Related to the result of scientists in Canada, that risky are like you have to go in ICU to have a pregnant from your IVF program, and you have to lost so many bloods. And of course, if you lost so many bloods, then you have to take a blood transfusion, because we can't pregnant with our body less blood, of course. And if that risky that risk is also can affect our reproduction system, and of course it can cause a lot of diseases. And the most surprisingly, this IVF program can cause death too. From scientists is also observing the data from 813,719 pregnancy in the hospitals in Ontario. They have a quite strong proof about the risky of this IVF program. They found that from 1,000 women, there are 30.8 women that follow this IVF having a really risky pregnancy, said Natalie Dayan, one of the doctors from the McGill University Health Center. And that is all for my arguments. From my perspective above, that we as the opposite side of the House absolutely disagree about the motion. I'm Massari Tanaurant, back to the House. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to the time that given to me. I'm Anisa Adisti Maulida from Senior High School 1 Jonggat as the third speaker from opposite team. So, before I deliver the conclusion of my team, I want to give the rebuttal from the second speaker of positive team. So the first one, sex selection is something that could lead to discrimination, stereotypes to either the baby and the parents. The second one, sex selection brings a hard inflict to the parents when they are failure when IVF. The last one is gender selection lead to an inequality in nation.
I want to give one of the example. So in field gender selection of Christy Tejan, she chose girl embryo to her womb, and as the result, she has problem when pregnantly. Well, I go on to my conclusion of my team. So in conclusion, choosing the sex of children is leading to discrimination. Other than that, choosing the sex of children has high risks for children's and moms' health and psychologies. So I think I strongly disagree to this motion, and I think it's enough to me, and thank you for the time. Back to the house, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.